Hello and good evening. Welcome to PLANNERCRAFT. I'm Natalie. I'm going to be taking you through the second part of our recipe album project. So in front of me I already have one page divider that I've already made, and you've probably seen this on our various social media sites. Now, first of all, I'm going to take you through how to make this first pocket, and then we'll go through some other designs. So first of all, you're going to want to take one of your section dividers, and we're going to choose a card, and you're also going to want a die cut. So again, we're going to be working with our Happy Days die cuts, and you're going to want one that goes with your card as well as the section that you are going to be presenting with this page. So as I've already done one with this one, I'm going to go for a different die cut for this. So one of the things you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look to see whereabouts your die cut is going to overlap. You want to do it so that it fits up against this edge here on your card, and you will get a certain amount of overlap. That makes a difference for when you get to making your pocket. Okay, so set your die cut to one side and your page divider. And I'm going to be working with our card first of all, and for this stage you're going to need a crocodile or a smaller hole punch, not too small but small enough, a craft knife, a magnetic ruler or a metal edge ruler, and possibly a pencil. So let's get started. Now, in my original divider we've got a straight horizontal pocket, but for this one I'm going to go at an angle, and you're also going to want to bear in mind where your holes are going. So you could punch your holes first, or you can just leave that area clear of pocket, in the same way that we've got this area here should be clear for your die to go over the top. So first thing you're going to want to do is to work out the diagonal of the pocket that you want to take, and you're going to give yourself some pencil marks to line up to with your punch. So I'm marking it at 4 inches, and if you're doing it straight across you'd mark it 4 inches the other end and then use that as a guide for your punch. But because it's going diagonal, we're going to be going there. Now, the reason I've left so much gap is obviously as we're going on a diagonal and bring it in a bit, we don't want to take it too close to these edges. So we're working with the smaller side on our crocodile, and I'm going to line it up so that my pencil mark sits on the side of my crocodile arm, and do a punch. May find the bit stays in, just take it out gently. And again, we'll turn the card round, line up your pencil mark on the same side, and punch it through. These mark the end points of our die. So we're going to then take our ruler and line up the 2 points. If you do have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to put them in the feed. Now, the ruler is going to line up so that it's on the bottommost edge, so if I just show you that now, that you should be able to see it a bit clearer. We're essentially going to do a double cut so that you end up with a slot. Just going to pop that out of your card and tidy up if necessary. Okay, and there's your pocket. Next, you're going to want to erase your pencil marks and mount it to your the page divider. So for this, I'm just going to use some red double-sided tape, and because we've done that concealed pocket, it can go all the way around our card.
So it doesn't get punched when you say it doesn't like being punched. Is that a different one?
You can leave it so that you don't actually punch through your tape. It depends on your pocket design itself how accurate you can be. The crocodile's quite forgiving because it will punch through quite thick layers of card. With other hole punches you may find it's not quite so forgiving. So you could draw through your stencil and mark it that way. But you don't really want to have to punch it until it's mounted. Otherwise you could be left with like a white halo around your hole on one side. So we're just going to do our usual technique of folding back one corner and then folding back the opposite side. So I go up here. Flip it over and you want to make sure that your tabs stay to the outside. And the whole point in doing it this way is that we have a little bit of wriggle room in our tape just to get this card level. And then you're happy to press those two opposite corners down, and then you're going to carefully remove your tape. Next we're going to do our die cut. As I said, you want to do this so it comes up to this edge here, and usually I would advise using wet glue to stick this down, but because of the time in this video I'm going to use some red tape, and then we're going to trim around the outside with some scissors. Now, like I said, I would usually do this with wet glue. I'd also run it through a die cutting machine so that it gets a lovely flat bond. Set it aside to dry before cutting it. So I'm just going to put my red tape on. And because I'm trimming around this, I'm doing little bits of tape in each section that might just lift when I'm going to cut. Now obviously, because this is square, we can't use, this isn't square rather, you can't use the same technique as we would usually do with the pulling the back the corners, because it just wouldn't work. So it's going to be a case of do it a little bit at a time. So I'm checking the alignment at the top and bottom and also on this edge. And I'm peeling off the bottom tabs. I'm just going to take a little bit of that tape out to one side and press it down on the edge. Then I'm going to turn it round and do the same on the other side. So, removing the tape on the shorter sections, folding back the tape on the longer side, lay it down and remove the tape. Give it a good rub down so that we know that it's bonded with the red tape, because we don't want it to lift too much on these edges. And then we can trim them out. Now, if you've got a steady hand, you could do this with a craft knife, but I'll be doing it with scissors. Okay, where we've got an inner corner, I'm just going to snip into it, just to make it a little bit easier to manipulate the card. then the next stage is to decorate it and have fun. So I'm going to set that to one side and show you a different type of pocket. So if I take another wider out album, now the last pocket I showed you is ideal for if you've got cutouts of recipes, particularly with having a diagonal pocket. If you've got something smaller it will slot in, but the next sort of pocket is for something that's a little bit thicker. So if you've got a little pamphlet that you've got with a gadget, that you can just slot it in there. Okay, so you're going to want to start with a piece of decorative paper, and we're going to work on this end rather than our binding end, because we're going to want to do a capacity pocket. And you're going to need a scoreboard, and one of the first things you're going to want to work out is how deep you need your pocket to be. So for instance, if you needed to do a 1-inch capacity pocket, you would actually start off with your first score being at 1.5 inches, so we have enough room to actually stick our pocket at the back. So if we do that, and you're going to want to do the same at the opposite end. Okay, turn it 90 degrees and do the same measurement on the bottom edge. Right, now turn your piece of paper over and we're going to do our next set of scoring. So you're going to set your paper edge at 1 inch. I was going to score in those same positions on the 1 inch mark. Okay, now flip it over again and we do our final score on the 1/2 inch mark. Do you want to just put up the paper that I'm using?
What is it?
It's the PLANNERCRAFT cupcake collection paper. Okay, so now that we've done our scoring, we're now going to take our paper and fold it according to these lines. So what you need to think of is this section is your front, so this line's got to go inwards, that one's got to go outwards, that one's got to go inwards. Okay, so starting on the back, we do our outer inward first, cupcake, and you do the same all the way around. Flip it back on itself and okay. So essentially we now have a pocket that will fold up like that. But now we need to work on our corners here, because obviously at the moment that is not going to tuck round underneath there. So this is where we get to be a little bit clever. For starters, you're going to want to take the scissors and cut diagonally into that first corner. So if I do it on this side, you're going to go in like that. Then you're going to want to go inwards up here and back out again to that same sort of level.
About 45 on each.
Yeah, about 45-degree angle. So if I then show you how that holds up. So that bit is going to be stuck to your card. The stickable edge from this one is going to nest inside there. And your folded edge from this section is going to fold up into that V. Okay. Now we can cut straight down on this one for starters. But you're then going to want to trim that bottom edge at 45 degrees. And you're going to want to repeat the same on the opposite side. So. Anybody confused yet? If you do have any questions, do pop them in the chat. Okay, down this edge. And 45 off the bottom. Okay, then we're going to want to get some red tape. This is definitely a red tape pocket. And you're going to want to run that along your stickable edges. Okay. So, taking the page divider, you're then going to want to decide which way up you want your pocket. You could put it that way up and just trim it off the top. That's why I haven't bothered to mighten my corners at the top yet. Or you can stick it sideways so that you actually have a pocket starting that way. Go that way. Go that way. Okay. So you're going to want to do this very slowly and very carefully, because right now this pocket is a coiled spring. Every time you let go, it's going to go pop. So I would start off by giving yourself some little pencil guidelines. So if I turn this round, let's see if I can be able to see that. See, you line up your pocket press down so that your pocket is as flat as possible, and you're going to give yourself some little guidelines for where that back flap sits. So if your zigzag isn't quite in line, you're referencing where your bottom edge goes. Ignore the top bit. Right now it's all about getting that bottom bit in place and stuck down flat. So I'm going to start off with my bottom edge. I'm going to bring my tape back to the front of my pocket and just do a nice crease in my tape. And you're going to line it up so that that bottom edge is in just the right place to get that level. Press down with the tape, peel, position and press down firmly. That's the first bit in place. Now that we have our two edges, and because we're going to use the full length of our pocket, we're going to want to just take a slight trim off each of these edges. It's just going to make it look that much neater. Okay, there is no easy way of doing this. So you're going to want to have a handy spare pair of hands. Who can help you out here. Because you're going to have to position this several ways at once. For starters, you need to get it so that your fold here tucks up where it should do, and then we're going to press this in. So you're going to want to make sure that inner fold sits over that flap. Pinch it in against that fold, like so, and press it down. Okay, press it down. Yep. Right up against the tape here. That's the important bit and the tricky bit. Once you peel the tape off from here, it should be fairly straightforward. Don't I say should. Okay, there we go. And there we have our capacity pocket for our page divider. So we have room for a little booklet, and you could then put a little catch over the top and just latch it into here, or you can put a decorative card over the top to hide any locking mechanism that you want to put on there.
Even space for some washi over the holes.
Yep, washy. Or you can use fabric tape. But what I'm actually looking for is one of our die cuts. And I'm going to use some fabric tape, flip it over the top, and then I'm going to attach a little bit of Velcro underneath. Thank you. So the fabric tape that I'm using is from The Works, and it comes with sellotape joining over the top, which on some patterns like this one is particularly difficult to find the end of. I don't know why they do that and stick the end, it's really annoying. Because you end up going, right, okay, I can't use that first bit of tape for that bit. So you end up cutting it off, and they've already taped it. Pretty annoying. So you want to cut your fabric tape longer than you actually need it. This is where you're going to need the help of a good assistant. No, Ian, you're not allowed to go and get my mum. Because what you're going to need to do is fiddly. So first of all, you want to line your tape up, this is the fiddly bit, on your mat. And it loves to stick to anything and everything, including pencil lead apparently, which is novel, because most things don't stick to pencil lead. Okay. Can you put a finger there, please? You're then going to want to take your card, clear any scraps out the other way, and you're going to position that halfway and level as possible. However, once it's taken, go with it. Because we've done the extra for a reason. Okay, you're then going to want to line up as closely as possible your flap with the edge of your card. And press down. Okay. You're then going to want to trim off your ends as closely as possible to your card, because otherwise it will be sticky. Thank you. Okay. And then we have some Velcro dots, and you're going to want one of each. So what I usually find best to do is to take a hook, attach it to your loop, attach it to the thinner item, fold it over and attach it to the thicker item. And you're going to want to press that down really well for a few seconds while the glue bonds. You can then continue to decorate this pocket however you want to. So I'm going to put, given that we've got lots of scales and baking things, I think it needs a mixer. I think I'm going to go for that one. Now, because it's that way up, we could put it that way, or we can go that way, which I think is the way I'm going to go. And you could use some Xyron to stick this on. Or some wet glue. I'm just using red tape just for speed. Okay. And then you can do your section heading, which I haven't done on mine yet because I haven't decided. So, finally, I want to show you a technique for protecting your pages. So I have already gathered some vinyl sheets and some recipe cards. Now if I show you what I've already done in my album, I've actually already covered this one in vinyl. I've done a little bit of a coding for what I think for each recipe, and I've used some washi tape that will link into some of the sheets. So let's go for let's go for the salmon. I love my salmon. Now, I've been very generous with my vinyl here, but you could go a bit closer, especially if you're not doing this live. I've given myself plenty of leeway for error. So, if I set that to one side for a minute, I'll show you what I did. First of all, grab a nice thin washi. Find the end of it. I'm just going to trim mine off straight. And the washi tape was from Tiger. Next I'm going to take some letter stickers. These are from a snap collection live documented by Simple Stories. H is for healthy, L is for light, and S is for salad. But you could set up your own code depending on what you're looking for in your meals. Also a good way of using up any random spare letters that you have left at the end of any alphabet sheets. And I'm just using a Uniball Signo Broad White gel pen. just to outline my letters, just to make them a little bit more legible. Yes, C is definitely for chocolate roll. Although, would that be H for honeycomb? Honeycomb mini rolls, very nice. Have to see what turns up in the shopping. Okay, I'm just going to let that set for a few seconds. I think most recipes come under for naughty. Certainly all the favourites anyway. So I'm going to start off by covering the front side with the vinyl. So to do this, you're going to want to stand up for starters. And make sure that your desk is clear of any offcuts in the near vicinity. Otherwise they will miraculously find a way under your vinyl. And I'm going to start by peeling one edge. Doesn't matter which edge, but one edge. Okay. And I'm going to peel the rest of the edge so that you have a lovely straight line, and pinch down the fold. I don't really want that one going on YouTube, do we? Okay, so use your cutting mat to help you stay level. You're going to place it down on your card, press down, and then grab your bone folder, lift up your vinyl so that you've got hold of that little short flap underneath, bone folder on top, and ta-da! Everybody think I was a bit too practiced at that. Now, you could do that by running it through a laminator or through a Zara machine. But to be honest, that is as easy as any. So, I want to give it a good press down, get all the bubbles out. Then, you're going to want to lift it up from one corner and trim. That's the easy bit. You don't have to be too precise with this first cut. The vinyl does cut nice and easy with nice non-stick scissors. So it's quite obvious where you're cutting into something you shouldn't. Doesn't matter if there's a little bit overhanging, because you'll tidy it up with the next layer. Go away scratch. And you're going to repeat the process for the other side. If you didn't have vinyl or a method of laminating these, you could use some glossy gel medium, but I would advise testing the patch first. And of course, while you're pressing this one down, you're still pressing down the one underneath as well. And nearly there. Okay. And it's simply a case of using your guide along your top edge to mark your holes, punch and put in your binder. And that's it for today's broadcast. If you do have any questions about anything we've done today, you can either pop it in the comments below when the video goes live, or you can then go on to social media. So we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we field questions on both. We're also on Twitter. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for the next part, and I hope to see you soon. Oh yes, and share. Thank you.